understand. So we get lots of inquiries about, does the ATO treat primary debt and interest and penalties different? And if there is a way to get penalties and interests waived or remitted, what are the sorts of criteria, what are the sorts of things that you like to be able to present to the ATO as an ideal case when you're asking for remission of penalties or interest?
So the ATO don't treat them differently. So sometimes people say to us, well, I only owe half of that debt. The ATO see the full account. The ATO see the full amount to be due and payable. They don't differentiate the two. And when you're doing a payment plan, you actually need to be able to pay the whole debt, because the ATO's stance is the interest is due and payable and part of the debt, unless you can show exceptional circumstances that were outside of your control. So there's legal practice requirements that are laws and the rules of what the ATO will take into consideration that are the circumstances outside of your control. A fun fact at the moment, so natural disasters is one, but at the moment, COVID is no longer enough. So for certain states, I know that's a really rough, terrible thing to hear. But COVID alone is no longer enough as to why you're carrying old debt. And the ATO want to see compliance. So now they are looking at whether you're in a payment plan, whether you're paying your ongoing liabilities rather than incurring exactly what you were saying, further debt. And you don't have to wait till the end of a payment plan to get rid of the interest and penalties, but you need to show that compliance piece and have the facts and situations and scenarios that match every period of the debt. So if that debt's been for 5 years and you were sick for one, then that will match up for that 1 year, but it won't be enough for the whole debt to show why you should have that interest and penalties remitted.
It is really interesting that so many people think that there is a major differentiation between the interest on the debt and the debt itself. I wish I could walk into the bank and explain to them that I only need to pay the amount of my house and not the interest component of that as well. That'd be a wonderful argument to have. Just you'll be fine for that, won't you? No problem. But it is a misconception out there. I think because there's so many people that seem to be selling wonderful solutions to desperate people, telling them what they want to hear, that they've created this apprehension or this idea that the ATO isn't interested in collecting the interest components as much as they are principal debt, and it's just not the case.
A perfect example of that is we had a client come to us actually through an accountant, and they'd paid all the principal debt and there was $100,000 left that was interest only. The accountant had done an application saying it was their fault, that they'd made a mistake to get the interest back. And the ATO issued a garnishee notice. So that garnishee notice was for $70,000. It disappeared out of the client's bank account, and that was an interest-only debt. So there is still recovery action happening in relation to interest-only payments.
And look, it's not something that we need to talk about today, but if anyone's looking for a further indication of how serious the ATO is about collecting general interest charges, the changes in the recent legislation that mean that interest is no longer a deductible cost of the business would show that the ATO is no longer interested in interest-free funding businesses moving forward, and they're taking collection of these debts very seriously.
And I think that goes hand in hand with the amount of directed penalty notices we're seeing as well. So it's a shift in attitude, it's a shift in perception. The ATO do not want to be seen as a cheap or easy small business bank. I think there was that perception for a while, and these changes in the laws and changes in recovery action absolutely are showing that shift.